I want to talk about a little bit about cycle of healing, a few laws of the universe. I don't understand all of them. And even the cycle of healing, it's not something I would say I understand fully. But I'm only going to speak from experience. I'm only going to speak from what I've been through. And I'm only going to speak from guided messages I have received, which has put a big puzzle together for me. And I'm sure there are more pieces. So there's so much to share, but I'll see if my brain can communicate with my higher mind a little bit clearer. I find it that sometimes there's a lot in the mind, and if I write it or do an audio, by the time I finish, it's like, oh, that was simple. It's never that much of a big deal. So when we start healing, right, something has to trigger us to enter a cycle of healing. We can be triggered by a situation, by people, by disease, physical ailments, mental health. We can be triggered by anything that takes you out of your normal state at that specific time. It's a trigger for healing. And we probably go through that trigger many times. So think about something that triggers you all the time, and every single time it repeats itself. The situation is trying to show you something. Sometimes we can see through the whole situation and be able to decipher what's been shown so that we can make changes. Or sometimes we have to see the situation in layers, because it could be quite complex and it could involve quite a lot of traumas or stuff that is stuck in your subconscious. So then it takes a few situations to be repeated for us to work through the layers. A sign that you know you've healed something fully is a organic feeling of gratitude. Gratitude is not something that we can produce. We can talk about, we can try to feel it, we can meditate with it, we can practice. But the healing cycle ends with a very immense feeling of gratitude, combined with the immense feeling of unconditional love for everything that is about that healing and everybody about that healing. And then you know you have concluded the healing for that specific trigger. And like I said, sometimes we're going to have to be triggered a few times through the same similar situations, but heal different layers of it, because it's complex. It could be linked to other situations, to other beliefs, to other traumas, one trauma bond to another. So think of a tree, we start healing right at the leaf. But when we get to the trunk, to the root, that's when gratitude really, really works. And we could be healing from different branches. Yeah, we could heal a full branch with all these ramifications all the way to the root, but then there's other branches to get started on, right? So when you are triggered, it's an act of unconditional love. There is a law there of a mirror image. There's a law of reciprocity. There's a law of unconditional love. The person that's triggering you is somehow has a soul contract with you to show you something through that trigger. That person is showing you something through that trigger that you're feeling, for you to see in yourself why you're getting triggered. We do spend time criticizing, judging, complaining. Why do they do this? Why do they do that? And that's where we get lost, and the situation repeats itself, comes back again to try to show us again. And sometimes the situation can come in more intensity, because then we need a bigger kick in the back to be able to see it. So when you get triggered, the first question is, what is it that I need to see in this situation. When you ask the question, the answer is delivered. If we don't ask the question, we just go back into the judgment and criticism of the other, of the situation, or the person who's triggering you. We don't get the answer because we're just projecting. But when you ask the question, you will get the answer. And when the answer comes, it comes in awareness. It comes in a bit of a click, like an aha moment. Yeah, oh, I've seen this perception of the situation a different way now. Right, work with that. Yeah, the situation might come around again. It might be slightly different, but very similar. Ask the question again. What is it that I need to see? Direct the focus on you, and then you will be healing much quicker. Okay. We are all one, and this is why we mirror each other light. We mirror each other darkness. We mirror each other dualities. So the darkness of one person could be there to lighten something new, or the light of that person could be there to bring the darkness out of you. That's duality. We could be mirroring darkness, we could be mirroring lightness. So when we're able to understand that person act of unconditional love, that act of triggering you is coming from a soul contract with unconditional love. This person is unconditionally loving you, triggering you to show you something. Think of tough love. It's basically that. Yeah, but it's subconscious. It's not a conscious tough love. It's a subconscious tough love. As we change our perception to, right, what is that trigger? Not the person, but what's the triggers trying to tell me? We completely change the dynamic of the situation, and it becomes a healing process for both of you, for everyone involved in that situation. Okay, but the focus is on you. You're the one questioning. You're the one noticing. So the focus is on you as you work through your healing. And you realize, right, I understand why I'm doing this. I can make different. You then integrate the change. You notice that people react different. The situation then is either dissolved or changed to something else. It's like, so then you're changing the reality. You're changing your reality. But then you could be sitting here and thinking, if this is a mirror reflection, if that person is mirroring me something, that means that what I healed on me, she or he, that person needs to heal on them. So I've questioned this because a lot of the times I've seen myself doing the work and looking back and going, did that person realize as well? Did that person were able to see the same thing? And sometimes not, and sometimes yes. And I did question why sometimes yes and sometimes not. And what I've understood and received messages from my guides about is that a lot of the times we do the healing, and as we heal, we become light, we increase our light. A couple of things could be happening. It could be that you're not accepting your light, or you haven't yet accepted healing thoroughly. Or it could be that the healing has so many layers that you need more situations, more complex situations, more elaborative situations to be able to really work through the healing. When we get to a point where we realize this is healed, you feel gratitude for the healing, for the people involved, for the situation. You feel love for those situations and people, and you also feel forgiveness for the old version of yourself. You know, you forgive for not seeing the situation sooner. You forgive for acting the way you did. You yourself, because as I see it, there's no need to forgive the others because they're not doing anything on purpose. They are unconditionally trying to show you something. And I know there are other situations where it can be horrendous, and the question is the same. Why are they doing this? How can this not be on purpose? But we also choose our experiences. And so contract up there, we also choose our experiences. Sometimes it can be horrendous experiences, but we do choose. And that's another understanding and acceptance that needs to come through for our healing to complete itself. When we feel the gratitude, our light shines. And when it shines back on them as well. So then, unconditionally loving your healing, yourself, them, and the situation, you are then creating this magnetic pull for that person to receive the healing as well, to receive a trigger to heal, yeah? And it could be the other way around. But that person then has no way out but to see it, to also see it. And if the situation continues to happen to that person, it might not be with you, it might be the cycle might continue with somebody else. So then there is other issues to be looked at. But the healing doesn't end in here, because when you heal, then you get to that point of gratitude, of love. You are then carrying codes of that healing. Let's say you've healed grief. You are carrying the cold of grief. When you're in contact with people, just being you, just being in your light, just being who you are, having a conversation. People could be going through grief and not even know. People could be hiding that they're going through grief. People could be literally telling you they're going through grief, and you are having an interaction with them. That healing, that light will travel to them, to their heart, and you will trigger them to heal. And that's all we need to be ourselves in our light to trigger the world around us. We don't need to necessarily go there and, right, we're going to work on this, or I'm going to assist you, or you're going to assist me with this. And, you don't necessarily need to. And as you heal, you uncover your abilities, your spiritual abilities, your senses, your soul abilities. And with that, you are then able to assist others as a healer. You're not healing them, but you are assisting. And all that you're doing through healing sessions is just sharing this cold of healing. And another law that I look at is reciprocity, right? You can only give that which you have, and you can only receive that which you need. So even through healing sessions as a healer, we need to be aware that we can only really assist those that we have the codes for, things that we healed in ourselves. And if there's anyone that comes to you with something that you've never healed before, be sure that they will be sharing something for you that you're not aware yet that you need to heal. And it could be so deep in the subconscious, it could be even from past lives. And sometimes all we need to do is receive and release. And the healing's done. It doesn't have to be a process, a big process. Healing can be just a acknowledgement of that, and then it's released and it's done. And I see so much potential on this. This past night has been an amazing review of things that I've healed in the last 2 years, and I'm going to show you. And for every healing I've been through, I wrote it down. And when I wrote it down, I literally sat down for 2-3 minutes and I was just writing, more like a journal, which then became a blog on a website that I used to have. And these are literally 2-3 minute reads, chapters, because they only relate to the healing that I've experienced. And these are some chapters. It's not, so I put all the blogs into a book, but it's not a book that you read from cover to cover. It's a book that you open for consultation. You just open in a page and it might just be that which you need to read. And the process of healing is here. This process of explaining, you know, I've gone through, not all the healings I've gone through all the way to the end until I felt gratitude, but the ones I felt I know has been complete. But last night, I had a review of all the healings that I haven't yet reached that point of gratitude. And it's like, it was like just a movie review. This. And I just gave it gratitude because I was feeling gratitude, and I released it and I healed it because I just needed to review it. I've been there, done that, but I just needed to finalize it. And I had this jump in timeline for myself. And yes, I would like to share that. Yes, please, if you're interested in finding out more. I wasn't going to put the book in this video, but it came to a point where I had to kind of show it to help you understand how I came across this understanding and healings becoming easier and faster, less suffering through heal. And I just want you to share. So it's available on Kindle and paper, and enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it. I'll put the link in the description. And I offer healing sessions, and I have a meditation group, and I love being part of it because I learn so much, I heal so much with them. But life isn't just about healing. Life is about living your day-to-day life, and the healing can happen while you're washing the dishes, and it could be a beautiful healing. Yeah, healing doesn't have to be suffering, doesn't have to be difficult, doesn't have to be hard, and we just have to believe for that to happen. So I send you love and light, and thank you.